Mentally, I still find myself, unfortunately, kind of, dwelling on bad things or negative things, however I want to phrase it. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a couple weeks since I made a video on my retirement channel. Just kind of give an update on, how it's going, how my path towards early retirement is going. As of today, it kind of became official via the superintendent that, I'd go ahead and finish the school year, which is not the worst thing that could happen, especially given that, the year's going pretty well. So I call myself fortunate to be able to have this opportunity to, to finish up on a good note. Today is October 18th, I think. Man, a fourth of the school year is over already. This is the last day of the first 9 weeks, and just flew by. Mentally, I still find myself, unfortunately, kind of, dwelling on bad things or negative things, however I want to phrase it. And to be honest with you, they're not bad, um, especially when you go into comparative mode and you think about, what people around the country, really around the world, are dealing with. What my job as a teacher could be like, for sure. Things could be 10 times worse, easily, for sure. But at the same time, find myself, inside my own head thinking about negative things a little more than I want to. So I've got some work to do to clear those out of my head. And I'm telling you, man, like third graders that we have now, even though they're good kids, there is a difference compared to, earlier on in my career. Just um, a general lack of disrespect, or if you ask or tell a kid to do something, there's always a significant delay between when you tell them to do something and then when it actually occurs, if it occurs at all. Um, what would I chalk that up to? And we've got some issues. We've got some, we'll say, I don't want to get into it too much, but definitely some societal issues in the way we're raising kids that moving forward, man, I sure hope they change for the better. If not, I would just say that I'm glad to be getting out of teaching, out of the teaching field this year. Now, with that being said, some of that I would attribute to my age, as a 56-year-old teacher compared to somebody who's 23, 24, 25 years old. Hopefully they have, more patience than I have at this point in my life. And I would say my patience is pretty good, although, like, when something happens, I don't lash out, but I kind of dwell on it in my head a little bit. And that's when I go to, man, I could be doing this instead. And that kind of causes a negative moment. But I will tell you, I've been learning, and I've been learning from these third graders. Um, Man, they're teaching me a lot. The thing I picked up this year is, so many students that come from incredibly difficult, challenging, home lives, for sure, to put it mildly. This is not unique to Southern Ohio. This is all around Ohio, all around the country. How kids are being raised, the environments they have to be raised in, and they bring that baggage to school. A lot of students come in and, man, they just don't want to do the work. Their minds, their attitudes can go downhill pretty quickly. That can lead to a bad moment in class, can lead to a bad class, can lead to a bad morning. But here's what I found this year. Had some students who fit this profile, to a T. They can be having a really, really bad day. You can see it in their face. You can see it in their actions. You can hear it in their speech. You can see it in the way they're treating their classmates. And they're just having a bad day. Everything is bad, really bad. But you can somehow figure out a way to give that student treat, small piece of candy, believe it or not, will completely change somebody's attitude. Maybe they just go to lunch. They're having a bad day, then they ask for ask for lunch. If it's something they like, going down and getting the lunch that they like, getting their belly full, they come back, and then all of a sudden, it's the best day ever. It's like, so what happened? And maybe it's like, well, we had pizza. It's the best day ever. Or, hey, I got to sit by my best friend at lunch. It's the best day ever. Just that quickly. They can go from being, the world's, the most terrible place in the world to be. Don't want to be at school, hate school, don't want to do my work. Go give them a good meal, and then everything's better. have a chance to sit with their best friend, everything's better. There's a good lesson there. I think the opportunities for us to turn our days around, to switch our emotions from negative to positive, to change the way we see, the moment, the day, it can be just that simple. Maybe you have a good exchange with a colleague or a friend. If you're not a teacher, of course, or you're not working, call a friend, you have a good exchange, and it can just instantly change your day. It could be a stranger in a checkout line at a store. I stop at a dollar store on the way home from work sometimes. Just make a comment to a random stranger, or somebody will ask me a question, and just leads to a brief conversation that is altogether completely meaningless. But from that point on, man, you can just smile the day away and everything's fine. The skies will look a little bluer, sun's shining a little brighter. It's just that easy. Like, we have that power to change the way we see things at any given moment. And honestly, like, I think I've been able to do it in the past, like without something changing our perspective, without, the conversation with a friend or something happening. You do have the power to change your outlook. It's not always easy, but it is possible. So I'm going to keep that in mind. Like, I've had a few days here that are, I'll say, quote unquote, bad days. Well, they're not really that bad, when it comes right down to it. In past jobs that I've had, or past years that I've had, man, I never dwell on the negative things. I never think about negative things. If I'm thinking about the past or reflecting, I only remember the good things. I don't think I've intentionally set out to do that. It's just kind of the way it happens. For me anyway, like, I'm able to push aside the negative thoughts and just kind of focus on the good things. I know, like, being in the Navy, for example, for sure, there's a lot of things that you don't want to do, things that don't go your way. You end up doing jobs that you don't want to do and you didn't sign up for, and they're really miserable when you're doing them. When all that's said and done and you're removed from that environment, I only think about the good things. Like, I really don't remember any of the bad things at all. So we have that power inside of us, for sure. On a larger scale, I've been trying to pay more attention to people around me, and, like, kind of gauge their emotions, their state of mind. Not trying to be too nosy, I think, but just kind of trying to learn from people. And what I've seen is, really have seen a lot of people who seem to have kind of a desperate state of mind, seem to be pretty discontent or unhappy in their job or their position in life. And I don't know, man. I really hope this isn't a larger trend. Maybe it's something that, since I'm thinking about it, I'm looking for it more. But man, I really, really hope that it's not like this, that people are able to see, the good in life, the beauty in people. Um, Man, it's not a good way to spend your life, especially if you're a younger person. You've got a longer career ahead of you. Um, I'm not one to give too much advice, but I would say, if I was, say, take my profession, if I was a younger teacher, and I'm looking at most days as being miserable and I'm unhappy, and if that continued for too long, then I think I would find something different to do at this point, because it's just not worth, spending your days, your time, being in a bad mood or being negative or not looking forward to going to work. So yeah, that's kind of all I have to say about that. But, like, the job we pick does not mean that we have to do that continuously or forever. We have the power to make changes in our life. So for anybody out there that's reached the point where you're not happy and you've got some time before your retirement age or something like that, I won't tell you to go in and quit, but, like, I would consider thinking about, well, maybe taking some steps to turn your life around. That means changing jobs, change jobs. It means changing zip codes. Maybe you need to change zip code. But the life you have is based on decisions that you make, and you have this power to change your life at any given moment. So with that being said, take the lesson from the third grader. The opportunity to change a bad day to the best day ever is totally inside of you. So hopefully we can do that going forward. Appreciate you watching. Consider hitting the thumbs up button, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.